Should I stage mom you if I don't feel like you're being fun enough? Like,
No, that'll be wildly distracting.
oh, okay.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to the first ever KnifeCenter Q&A. I'm Clayton.
And I'm Leandre.
And we're gonna answer your questions. We sourced questions from you guys on social media and we got dozens and dozens of responses, so we've picked some out of the pack to get us started. So we're gonna dive right in on these questions, starting with number 1. Can any knife be used as an outdoor knife? Leandro, you wanna take this one?
Sure. Yes, all knives can be used outdoors, but you want specific materials for the best results.
Yeah, you want corrosion resistance, especially if you're using it in a wet environment. So H1, something like that would be ideal. And then
Micarta, G10, because they have all-weather surfaces. So those would be your best choices for an outdoor knife.
all right, so what's our next question?
All right, will the proposed tariffs impact the onslaught of Chinese high-end knives?
Not that we can see. The way these knives are priced already, there's probably some cushion built in that can absorb the cost of these tariffs, so it shouldn't really impact the price too much, if at all. All right, so next up, what's the strongest blade type?
Okay, structurally, it would be a full-tamed fixed blade, but it really all depends on what you're cutting.
Yeah, I mean, if you're piercing, you want a Tanto. If you're slicing, maybe you want a Wharncliffe or, a combo edge if you're cutting line or something like that. So, strength is really dependent on what the task at hand is. So what's our next question?
All right, this person who submitted the question has a Benchmade 550 and 940, but honestly doesn't know where to go next, brander style. Lots of stuff on what is the best EDC, but what would the best third knife choice be?
All right, finally, this is a great question because we love recommending knives to people. So we have a whole bunch of stuff over here. We'll just put these out in the middle. So first up, if you want to stay with Benchmade, we'd recommend the Bug Out. It's a really nice lightweight folder. You still get S30V stainless steel, and it's the axis lock, so it's going to be comparable to the other folders, but much more lightweight and easy to carry in everyday situations. So the Bug Out is a great option if you do enjoy Benchmade and you want to stay with them.
All right, moving on to the Sinkovich ZT. If you're looking for a little bit bigger of a frame, but still keeping the slender profile, this is a good one.
So now moving in a totally different direction, if you want to really shake it up, maybe the Boker F3 by Jesper Voxnaes. This is a much more heavy-duty knife than either one that the individual owns, but still easy to use, easy to deploy, perfect for everyday carry, especially if you want something a little more on the rugged side.
Okay, and if you are a fan of liner locks, we have the WE Knife Blitz VG10 steel. You still have the slender profile and small frame.
And also on the WE side, if you're looking for something with a little bit more flair, you could go for the Ignition, which has a frame lock here on this side. And again, lightweight, slim, really nice action on this one too, so this is a great option from WE. And finally, do you want to do the honors or shall I?
You got it.
All right, this is just a gimme. The Paramilitary 2, it's a beloved knife already. It's a classic, it deserves to be a classic. You got the compression lock, G10 scales, CPM S30V blade, just a beautiful everyday carry knife, especially if you want something a little on the larger and longer side. So these are just a few options for this particular individual, but they're great EDC knives for basically anybody, especially if you're looking for some higher performance options.
All right, on to the next question. The Kramer SLB, how is the detent and the centering?
All right, well, we have that right here. So that's this knife. Our custom guys love this particular knife. According to Nick, it's perfect in every way. You can see it's got a really nice centering. Detent makes it easy to snap the knife out without any difficulty, and super stylish. All right, so far they're lobbing softballs. Let's see what the next question is.
Why does the knife industry consistently fail to produce enough of the popular sprint runs when there's obvious demand?
Sometimes the demand's not as obvious as you think it's going to be. A lot of times a knife company will make a design that they think is going to fly off the shelves and nobody cares, and sometimes the inverse happens. They make a knife that they think that it's going to have a limited or niche appeal and then it blows up. So it's really difficult to determine on the production side which knives are going to be the most popular.
I also think there's a matter of collectability. An example would be the ZT392. They came out with all those different color waves, and it's kind of a thing to collect all of those now.
Yeah, and those are intentionally limited so that they actually hold their value. So there's a number of factors in play when it comes to that stuff. So our next question. Okay, this is a little bit of a sticky question, but we'll answer it anyway. Who are the makers or companies that have burned or ripped you guys off on past orders, or generally any people who you would not do business with?
Luckily, we haven't had any encounters with producers, manufacturers, or knife makers like that.
Yeah, we actually are lucky to have really good relationships with everybody that we deal with. The knife community is pretty tight-knit, so you don't really get burned like that very often. And when it happens, it's usually not malicious intent on the parties involved, and you can kind of work through the problem.
Yeah, just a miscommunication. We work really hard to keep our relationship strong with knife makers and manufacturers.
So our next question. 3 production knives for the rest of your life, which would they be and why? Now we got a lot of variations on this question, people asking us if we could pick one knife for the rest of our lives, people asking for top 5s, etc. We decided this was a good middle ground and it'd be a little bit fun. So Leandre, I'll let you take it first. What would be the 3 production knives you'd use if you could only use these for the rest of your life?
I picked the Kershaw Blur to start. I know people aren't a big fan of assisted knives, but these have a great variety. You could get this almost in any color. This particular one has 14 C28N Sandvik steel, so I think this is a good choice. All right, Clayton, what's yours?
All right, so my first choice is the most obvious one, and that is the Spyderco Sage. This particular model has carbon fiber and G10 laminate handles, which I like for the durability and the grip. It's just a good size for my hand. You get this choil up here so you can bear down, and some good jimping up here. It's the compression lock. And then the blade is S30V stainless steel. So I think this is a really nice durable EDC that I could get a lot of intense use out of. All right, Leandro, what was your next one?
All right, my next one is the Steel Will Cut Jack. FRN handles, nice and durable, good for outdoors. You also have D2 steel. This one also comes in quite a few flavors. Clayton, what's next?
All right, this is one I'm probably gonna get some crap for, but I really like this knife.
Controversial pick.
It's a budget option. Outdoor Edge Divide, went a little outside the box on it. It's just nice. It's super thin. The action is great. You got a really nice blade shape with a lot of belly. You also, I'm kind of a fidgeter, so you have your choice of deployment options. You can go for the flipper, or you can go with the middle finger, which means when I'm trapped on my desert island, which presumably I have been, I guess, I can just play with this all day. And 35 bucks. I mean, what else can I say? So this is my budget option. Don't judge me too harshly. All right, so Leandro, what is your final choice?
Okay, my last pick is the ZT562 Hinder design. We all know the quality of ZT. This one fits in your hand like a glove. Carbon fiber handles and CPM 20 CV steel.
Nice one.
Clayton, what is your last pick?
My last pick, I wanted to go for a fixed blade just for the variety, and I went with a classic, the Azula. I like a more low profile fixed blade, especially if I'm going to be carrying it every day. This is just the perfect package. It's a 1095 carbon steel. It's got the black powder coating for extra corrosion resistance. You have, even without any kind of handle scale or wrapping, I just find that it fits perfectly in the hand. It's a really nice ergonomic design. And like I say, low profile, lightweight, so it's just the perfect fixed blade for everyday carry.
Okay, good pick.
So what is our next question?
All right, the person who submitted this question wants to know why nobody has thought of doing a yellow G10 black blade in hardware Spyderco Spring PM2 or Mannix, and would we consider it?
All right, there's a lot of factors that come into play when you're talking about an exclusive like this. Generally speaking, it takes about 3 years to get one of those from conception to delivery, and you have to order a lot of them. So when you're thinking about that, you have to consider, is this something that's going to sell in the quantities that are required? And when you're talking colors like black and yellow, that's a little more niche in its appeal, and it's probably not something that's going to really fly off the shelves. So getting an exclusive like that doesn't necessarily make the most sense, and that's probably why you haven't seen something like that. So our next question, what are some good knives for people with smaller hands? And you know, there's a lot of them, so we're gonna do this as something of a speed round. So Leandre, rattle off some knives here.
All right, Benchmade Mini Grip, Spyderco Delico, Spyderco Para 3, Kershaw Chive, Buck Vantage, the small version, the CRKT Squid, and the Kershaw Leak.
So these are just a few options of some great production knives that have smaller handles, and there's varying sizes within them, so you can even tailor. I mean, like, this is pretty minuscule. It doesn't make a lot of sense for someone like me, but it'd be perfect for someone with really small hands, whereas you have, similarly, the Leak, which is, you know, more appropriate for people with average sized hands, but can still work for someone with smaller hands. And everything in between. What's next, Leandre?
All right, we have this really in-depth question about designing knives. Clayton, I'm going to let you handle this one.
So this is a great in-depth question that basically boils down to what we think about the design process of knives, and the short answer is that we're fascinated by it. It's something we consider ourselves all the time, and personally I've been fortunate enough to conduct interviews with numerous knife makers, from production knife designers to custom knife makers, and put together a series of interview videos ranging from one-on-one discussions to broad topics that I've had numerous knife designers weigh in on. So I'm going to put a link in the description to our playlist for this series, and if you guys want to check that out, there's a lot of great insight into the design process of knives there. Alright, so moving on to our final question. This person wants to know what happens with return knives. Do they go back on the shelves? Are they checked for wear or tampering? Leandre?
All right, there's no worries here. All returns are meticulously examined by the knife experts here, and all defective returns go back to the manufacturer.
All right, so that was a lot of fun. Thanks to everybody who submitted these great questions. And if we didn't get to your questions, we're thinking about doing another one of these if it does well. So if you have anything you want to know about knives, outdoor gear, multi-tools, or KnifeCenter in general, feel free to leave it in the comments below or shoot us a message on social media. And until next time, I'm Clayton.
And I'm Leandre.
And thanks for watching.
Take care.